chosen by destiny.
But in the end,
There can be only one.
Welcome, everyone. It's Friday, and we are back with another comic book showdown of Ultimate Destiny. But first, we have a couple of highlight points we want to cover. The first one being, is New York Comic Con the best new big show for indie comic creators? Well, maybe not a new show. It's been there a while. But is it the show to go to if you're an indie comic creator? Smurf was just there. He's going to give us the lowdown, going to spill the tea.
So I have been going to New York Comic Con for years, multiple New York Comic Cons. And I have to say, this was the most packed and full I have seen it in a long, long time. When I think of comic book driven shows, there are two that immediately come to mind: New York and Planet Comic Con. All right, Planet's in Kansas. It's a very comic focused con. But when you see the size and the volume that New York is, it's really, really difficult to compete with that. And I mean, it's an entire room. What some cons have for just the vendor room is Artist Alley or Artist Pit, Artist Reckoning. I mean, it was elbow to elbow, walking like this just to get through the artists. There's no vendors in here. They're all artists. And that's even big names, too. Capullo was down the way. I tried to go see our buddy Dirk because I wanted to do, the Wilson picture, but I went down there to see DMC. Huh?
So shout out to Dirk.
Shout out to Dirk. My boy Dirk. I went to try and see him. Couldn't see him because it was just that full. But I think that's a good sign. There's, a lot of indie artists. But the one thing that I saw that is disappointing is there's not a whole lot of interaction from the other side of the table. There were a couple of different approaches that I saw, even from the celebrities, which also has its own room for the con, that they're on the outside of their table. They're not sitting down. They are on the front. They're interacting. I met Bryce Dallas Howard, and she never once sat behind her table. She was like right on the front, outside. And this man, DMC, was doing the exact same thing. And as you can see, there's no room to just stand. There is someone literally like right behind my shoulder. And we're not that close because we like each other. We're that close because the room is that full. It was obnoxious. Obnoxious. But you get a mix of reach, and if you don't take advantage of these situations when you have them, it's a sad day for you. And then there's the guitar, of course, that DMC did the soundtrack for Ghostbusters 2, and Sigourney Weaver and Annie Potts have now been added to the Ghostbusters guitar that is designed and created by Wolfmeyer Guitars. Wolfmeyer,
and that guitar is going to be worth a lot of money someday.
The only one that's not on there now is Bill Murray and Rick Moranis. So Rick has only done one show, and I don't think Bill Murray has ever done a show. So
I heard that Rick Moranis is coming out of retirement for Spaceballs.
That is correct. And Strange Brew. They're doing a sequel to Strange Brew for some strange reason.
Reason.
Strange reason. But I mean, I even like artists that I don't know that had lines around their booth. Like, some amazing things can happen if you approach the thing properly. And it's hard to find these comic driven shows. I only know the two. Emerald City's kind of dicey. San Diego Comic-Con is not a comic book driven show. Not a chance.
No.
Maybe Albuquerque.
For years. I mean, I remember as far back as like 2009, the longest line they had at San Diego Comic-Con was for a show called Glee. You guys remember that? And everyone kept saying, what does this have to do with comics? And yet the line was like a mile long. So if you guys are listening now, leave your thoughts in the comments. Which show do you think is the best show for indie comic creators? Travis Gibb, if you're listening, I think you were just doing Boston. I want to say it was in Boston, or maybe it was Baltimore. Baltimore. I don't remember which
Oh,
one.
Baltimore's not a bad show for indie comic creators. I know maybe Vegas. Vegas is kind of up and coming, but I think
Mhm.
Vegas is trying to find its way more than anything. But the fan expos and the Comic Cons, the Read Pop guys and the Fan X guys, they are completely pop culture driven. They are not
Oh
comics, and I
man,
think
yeah,
this is the
the
one
fan
off.
expo and stuff. It's just gotten gross with like how much it's just about celebrities, and there's just nothing comic related. It's a very tiny, tiny little section of it. So that's what we want to know as indie creators. Where are we going? And so leave what you think is the best show for that in the comment section. And the other thing is the trade off. Like I went to New York several years back, and four of us shared one booth in. Um, it was supposed to be in small press, not necessarily artist alley, but in small press. And they had us right up against the borderline of the main floor. So we were looking out to the main floor, but we were sort of on the side of the press, the small press. And at that time, I did not have a good experience. It was like I said, it was like selling lemonade on the freeway. It was like, hey, do you want to buy my comic? Hey, do you want to buy a comic? Hey, because they're all running over here. Marvel was in iShot giving away fucking statues and like hardback books like every hour on the hour. And people were just like mob running over there, and you could not do anything. Now, part of that was probably location because we were facing the main floor. And so if we were kind of tucked farther back into Artist Alley, it might have been, worth it. But in the end, even with four of us splitting the table and four of us splitting the hotel, we all easily dropped over $1,000 to be there and didn't make that back. However, I've heard a lot of things about New York Comic Con just from this year's show of indie creators just saying that they had tons of people at their table. And so it might be worth that investment to go and have a table there and get seen
I
by a lot of people and get reach.
I can't. I mean, like I said, I've never seen it this full. I mean, when we were waiting in line for the autographs, and other people of our group had went off, they came back and they're like, "We're already over peopled. Our peopling is done." And this is at like 3 o'clock. That picture with DMC and Anthony and that is at 2 p.m. That is right. I want to say the golden hour, but I mean that is the height of traffic right there, and it
Yeah,
was
you
it
can
was
see it.
hard enough. Yeah, I mean it was hard enough to just walk around and get that done. I mean DMC remembered me from Denver Comic Con year 2,
Nice.
so
Nice.
he was happy to see us. So we gave him a patch, and he was like, "Hey, how are you doing, guys?" And yeah, it's nice when they remember you, but he had people coming at all angles at him because he's on the outside of his booth. And I think if you have the right table presentation, and this brings me back to what you set up with, if you had like a tablet or just something on the table to catch people's eye, some eye grabber, you'd make out like a bandit. I'm telling you, you just got to get that hook, and that in that environment, absolutely. I don't know if the mom and pops you can do it like the other New York show.
Yeah.
That hurts.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always looking for a show where people are walking up saying, "Hey, what's your comic about?" Because so many times we go to a show and, they're just looking for prints or they're looking for signatures and they don't really care about us comic book creators. And that's not the kind of show that I really want to be at. So this conversation.
Even
What?
Go ahead. I was gonna, even Dirk's photos. All I have seen is just the mob scene around Dirk, and I mean, just stacks and stacks of photos. I mean, that man probably, I don't think, ever sat down from the way these pictures of his roll out from his table. So just got to put in the time. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an investment. It's an investment. But speaking of investment and time investment, we're going to segue into the kind of the topic of discussion for indie comics for this particular show, You saw it in the thumbnail. It is the silent killer of comics. Smurf, what kills more indie comics than a bad pitch or a boring story? What do you think it could be?
Could it be reach? Could it be your audience? Could it be the ones that you are trying to sell it to?
Yeah, this is the answer. Why? Not hearing anything. Crickets?
I don't hear any crickets. I don't hear anything.
I don't hear crickets. I don't hear any crickets either. It's supposed to be playing crickets, but the idea here is that the problem that we're seeing in a lot of comic campaigns, they have a great story, they have good looking art, they've worked on their pitch, but yet they still are not hitting goal, and that has to do with reach. So put this up here, right here. There we go. Yeah, even if your book looks awesome, if no one sees it, then it dies a sad death in the ethereal realms of Kickstarter and comic campaigns.
A sad, lonely death.
A sad, lonely death, yeah. And that can be super frustrating for indie comic creators. So Benjamin wants to know if we were about to announce an all indie Comic Con. We got no but I have heard tell of actual all indie Comic Cons out there. In fact, we used to have one here in Denver, put on by the guys that started the original Denver Comic Con. Shortly thereafter, it was called Dink.
Yep.
Denver.
That was artist driven, and it was glorious. It was amazing. And Dink came after Denver Comic Con. So they started Denver Comic Con and then went and did Dink, and then Dink Corona hit, and that was it. It's hard to run an indie driven Comic Con though. You really gotta work. You really gotta work that.
Yeah, for sure. All right, back to this silent killer of comics that we've been seeing on indie campaigns. What I've deducted is when I go and I look at someone's campaign that has all the ingredients to be a successful comic, but they're not hitting goal, I go look at some of their numbers. I go look at how many followers they have on their different things, and that gets me to the topic of reach. So what is reach? Any thoughts on that, Smurf? What you think reach is?
I mean, so the problem I have with Facebook, so you'll pay for extra exposure, okay? And they just throw, you were exposed to these many people, okay? And of those people, you maybe saw, like they say, 10,000 people saw your ad. And of those 10,000 people, you had Bubkiss follow you. You got absolutely nothing out of it. That is what I have problems with Facebook, and you can skewer percentages, okay? But the actual reach is your following, and it is your friends. It is people talking about you. It is word of mouth. So when you are creating your reach, you need to be strategic. All right. And I was going to ask you this: when you're pre-launch, how many months ahead of time are you building your reach, your clientele, to get ready for the launch of your campaign? What's your lead-in time?
Ideally, 2 to 3 months.
Right?
Sometimes some people think that's fast. Some people are launching multiple campaigns. I know JD Calderon is launching one a couple times a month sometimes. So it would be almost impossible to try and promote that early. But when I do a campaign, I generally want to start getting the word out. And it's not just about saying, hey, I got a campaign coming up. All right. And that's what we want to talk about here. What is reach, and how do you get more of it, right? So the first thing is it's not just about your follower count. So on my personal Facebook page, I have like over 2,000 followers. Over on Instagram, I have well over 4,000 followers. Some people I know have in the 5 digits of followers, right? But if I post something on my Facebook page with 2,000 followers, the algorithm is only going to show it to a small percentage of people, maybe a couple hundred. That's your actual reach, right?
Yep.
That's the people that you're actually getting to. And the reason that that number keeps going down, a lot of people, we are fighting an algorithm, to be sure. Like, don't make any mistakes about that. But a lot of people, give up on it because they're just, they blame Facebook. And they're like, oh, my stuff's not going out to anybody. Well, here's the thing. This is the sad truth. Part of that is because you're not posting content that's engaging, right? I went and looked at some of the content that some of these people who are struggling with reach are posting, and they're like, hey, here's this half-finished sketch I'm working on. That's it. No, no call to action, or it's very passive call to action, like, hey, I'm posting this and hoping someone will tell me what they think about it. That's not a call to action. That's a passive call to action. So if you want to get your engagement up and get your reach up, then you need to be posting things that get people to engage. Polls, questions, asking questions. So every time you make a post, you should be asking yourself, like, what can I end that's going to trigger some sort of action or question, rather than just, hey, here's my stuff, check it out. That's just broadcasting. That's not engagement.
Yeah. I mean, and you want to do, when you're doing this, you have to be frequent and you have to be consistent. That's the key. And a lot of people don't get that. You have to, Instagram is great. You're probably going to get more eyes on your stuff on Instagram than anything else, but you have to be you have to be frequent. You have to be consistent. You've got to get stuff out there. And also you have to interact. You have to also be liking other things twice.
Yeah.
And I know this sounds extreme. I know this sounds bad. If you're on there twice a day, in the morning and later in the afternoon, liking stuff, posting just pictures, here's what I'm working on, link it to your Facebook page so that what you share will automatically roll over to Facebook, and then you can share some more from there. It helps your algorithm. It shows that you're engaging. It also shows that you are doing something, and it helps the algorithm. And I hate to feed the beast, but it's the necessary evil right now when you're creative. Even on my side for 5280, for Ghostbusters, we still have to constantly do that. It's not just for the artist or the writer or the publisher. It is everybody. So that is my one piece of advice. If you're going to do it frequent, do it often, and interact.
So you're absolutely right. You have to be consistent. You have to be engaged. Just posting your stuff up and saying, hey guys, here's another piece of my art, and then leaving is not being engaged with your audience, right? You got to share a story. Like, for instance, like if I've got to go to work all day and then I have to come home and take care of, some crisis going on at home, but yet my passion is art and telling a story, then I'm going to, try to get through all that and fight through all that so that I can get even 5 or 10 minutes of drawing to get my passion. And then you can post that and say, I had to do this, and this today so I can get this little bit of sketch. What did you have to go through today in order to reach your passion? And because people can relate to that, share a story, connect to it. But the other thing that I want to, point out here is that why is this important? Why is it that we need to spend our time and energy on social media? Because it completely comes back to Kickstarter, right? Yes, if you have a book that, there's a lot of books on Kickstarter that are just booby books, sexy girls, and those are not hard to sell. People will click and buy those, right? But if you're an indie creator that's got some other kind of story, then you need to bring your audience to Kickstarter. Now, just like with any other algorithm on Instagram or Facebook, Kickstarter works the same way in that if it has an initial momentum and virality right out of the gate, then they're gonna continue to share it, and they're gonna continue to push it up to the top of the search engines on Kickstarter. So the numbers from Kickstarter are 30% of your goal in the first 48 hours. And so how do you do that? Well, you do that by promoting, getting pre-signups. If you can get 100 people signed up for your campaign before you launch, pre-launch, then you've got a pretty good basis for starting, hitting it hard right out of the gate. And that means not just on social media, but also through emails, saving emails and sending out emails, because a lot more people open those. But the last thing that I want to say, and I'd love to hear what you guys, what your platform of choice is. But part of the challenge when it comes to us as creators is we only have so much time in the day to do this social media shit, right? And so you have to choose your battles, like which platform am I going to put my time into? I was just having this conversation yesterday with someone who was like, I spend all my time on Twitter because Facebook's not giving me any results. Well, you're probably not putting in the effort into Facebook, and that's why you're not getting results. Just like I'm not putting any effort into X or Twitter or whatever.
Right.
So, like, the answer to that is, where is your audience at, right? If you've got people engaging and communicating and the following or the reach is high on X, great. Put your effort in there and keep going there. But to try and say, I want to go, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter and TikTok, that's going to wear your ass out. So I recommend finding one place where your audience lives, that they're really engaging with you, and put most of your effort in there, and then just sort of share in the other places to keep it alive. But here's something unique that I was just talking to Jenny this morning about. Something I haven't been using that I think we need to start looking more into as indie creators. If you do a Google search for certain topics, instead of now Facebook being the first thing that pops up, or X, or Instagram, do you know what's popping up more than all of those? I'll give you guys a hint. It starts with the letter R. Reddit.
What? Shut up!
I'm not kidding you, man. We tried this with a couple different searches.
Bullshit!
You type in indie comics, Reddit pops up. There are conversations happening on Reddit where people are engaging and having like real conversation the way that they kind of do in Discord. But on Facebook, it's just post, maybe a like, maybe a comment here and there. But there's a lot of stuff happening on Reddit, and I don't think we're using it. I used to always just think it was, for other things, but yeah, that's my 2 cents about reach. You got to have a reach. You have to bring an audience, and as our good friend Dirk once said, you have to have a crowd in order to crowdfund. And if you just build it and put it up on Kickstarter, you don't have hundreds or thousands of followers that can be engaged. You're probably going to struggle to hit goal. And so that's actually, no matter how good your campaign is. So says Matt's absolutely correct. Reddit is the absolute top of the search engines now. Thank you, Matt. Right. So you guys, if you're not using Reddit, go check it out. Start checking out the conversations that are happening there. Because I was quite surprised when I discovered that there's a whole bunch of our indie community over there having conversations.
Okay.
I know, it's blowing your mind, isn't it, Smurf?
What kind of world do we live in when Reddit How much money did they dump into that? Jesus.
I don't know, but here's the thing. I was talking with Jenny this
All right,
morning,
Sean.
and she said that she thinks one of the boosts to Reddit was this thread called "Am I the Asshole?" And it's all these people who are like, telling their stories of like how, am I the asshole because I cheated on my wife and she found out about it, and they're like, yes, you're the asshole.
Yeah, pretty much.
Things like that, and so like it just blew up, and now there's lots of conversations happening in there, and I think that's helped carry the entire site up. But yeah, if you type in a search term like indie comics, like literally it's showing up before Facebook, before Instagram. It's crazy. Dead Cosmos says the wife is always spending hours reading stories on the Am I the Asshole thread. They can be very entertaining. Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, I would say check it out. And
I will go check it out now.
Yeah. Very interesting things going on. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, guys.
Okay.
That's enough about that topic. Again, let us know in the comment section where your audience is at and where you're putting most of your effort in on social media. For me right now, mostly it's Facebook because I'm in a lot of groups and those groups are communicating about comics. And so I'm pretty engaged there and I'm getting a lot of good engagement and good reach. But that brings us to what this show is all about, the comic book showdown of Ultimate Destiny. Man, I'm excited. I'm excited about how many signups that we have this week. It keeps growing. Ever since our troll came and visited, it's just boosted. So again,
I owe him a fruit basket.
So this is our sign up for the week. Look at that impressive list we've got there. Josh says most of his engagement is on TikTok. I've tried. Again, that's one of those things I got to choose my battles. I haven't been putting enough energy into that, so mine's not doing super well there. All right, let me read the list off of all these amazing entries on the Wheel of Destiny this week. If you know any of these people and you don't see them in the chat, be sure and go tag them so they know that they might be the chosen one today. And then we'll get into spinning that wheel. All right, first off, we have Ice and Bone, then Icelander and Plasma, Storage Horrors, Old Devils 1 and 2. I know, I have to really emphasize Storage Horrors so it doesn't come out sounding something like something else.
How do you store your horrors? Well, kind of stacked on top of each other typically is the best. Sorry, go on.
All right, moving on. We've got Los Ojos Volume 1, Cocaine Stripper Stronghold, Model UN, The Sentinels, Inc. Volume 1, Treasure of the Mystic Arts, Selby Jack, Matt's book Heirs of Isildur, I think issue 3 or 4, I don't know which one. A book called Mosquito, spelled M-I-S-S, Mosquito. Hospice, and then lastly, Memoirs of the Morbid. Pretty entertaining lineup. I'm excited about a lot of these. So, are you ready to spin the wheel, sir?
Spin the wheel, spin the wheel, spin the wheel.
Yes, let's do it.
Go!
There can be only one Highlander type situation. Behold, my wheel of
Destiny!
Pitter patter, let's get at her.
Time to spin the wheel.
All right, let's see who is going to be first on the comic book showdown of Ultimate Destiny today. 1, 2, 3, let's go. Number 1 looks like Model UN Part 1. And we got that one pulled up. So let's take that one off the list. Let's remove this from here. And let's go over here. And share the Model UN page. There it is. There it is. All right. I like this one we had here. Right there. That works. Let's see here. Model UN Aliens plus High School plus 90s plus manga plus 54 pages. There's a lot going on. A lot of pluses. A lot of pluses.
A lot of pluses. Plus.
Yeah. Plus. All right. The tagline says, when aliens... I just realized my microphone is really far away. Have you guys had a hard time hearing me?
No, you've had this nice echo effect.
Oh, how's it sound now?
Now you sound
Yeah,
way
my
better.
microphone was like 3 feet away from me. I forgot to set that up. Sound better now, guys?
Way better.
Way better. All right. All right. So the tagline says, when aliens mistake a high school model UN club for the rulers of the earth, the fate of the planet rests in their hands of the 90s teens. Nice. That sounds different. Sounds unique. Something to look forward to here. All right. Let's see. We've got a goal of $1,423. That's translated from Canadian dollars, a $2,000 goal. They've hit their goal. They're at 1574. So congratulations. They've got 66 backers with 19 days to go. All right. So either A, like we were just saying, they had a reach that they brought with them and knocked it out of the park, and now it's just smooth sailing to grab some more new backers along the way, or they just had an absolutely stellar campaign that caught the attention of all the passersby. Which one is it?
Well,
We're about to find out.
It's a great one because 20. That means each donor is about $23. So
yeah, that's pretty good. The average, yeah.
That's pretty good.
And speaking of that, you've heard us talk about, the average number of spent per, backer, that kind of thing. We often bring that up. And the reason for that is you should be doing that math. So if you're like, all right, I've got this book, I need to raise, let's say $3,000, right? You should know right out of the gate how many backers that's probably going to mean for you, right? If I know that my average in the past is around $30, per person, and I need to raise $3,000, that means I know I need to hit around 100 backers, which means I need to make sure and, get my reach out and to 7 or 8 times that. I need to be reaching out to hundreds and hundreds of people to get those 100 backers, right? So that's why we are always doing that math, because you should know that before you launch. How many backers do I probably need to hit this goal? All right, let's see here. Let's go back to this video and see what this video tells us.
I'm Benjamin Hunting, the writer and co-creator of Model UN, and here's Model UN in 30 seconds. Aliens show up on Earth and mistake a Model UN club at a high school for the actual United Nations, which means a group of 90s misfit teenagers have to negotiate the fate of the planet over the course of one crazy weekend when all they want to do is graduate. It's a combination of sci-fi and comedy, and it's only available in this digital exclusive tariff special Kickstarter campaign.
All right, there it is. Did he say tariff special?
Tariff special is, yes, you did hear that correctly.
What does that mean?
Tariff free special, I think he meant to say, but tariff special, okay.
I don't know.
I got it.
All right. So what do you know?
I mean
what he said is kind of what the tagline said. It's just pretty clear.
Yeah. Boom, boom, boom. I mean, it's a pitch. I want to just out for an afternoon stroll. I mean, he's just he's out walking with his wife. Hey, I got an idea. Let me just pitch this now. Just record it while we're walking. And you know what?
Hold my beer.
Sometimes,
hold my
hold my beer.
I actually liked it. I thought it was straightforward. It's quick. I like that it's short and sweet. I would have loved to just maybe cut away while he's still talking and show me a couple of slides of the artwork, maybe. But all in all, I thought that was pretty smooth, pretty good.
Here's the pitch in 30 seconds. Well done, sir. Top accolades. Wow. Okay. But we know what it's about. Okay, we know who, what, where, when, why. I'm in. Totally makes sense. I'd scroll down to investigate. There you go.
Yeah. So again, like, do you have to have a video? No. But in these three areas, we've got the title, we've got the tagline, and we've got the video. And these three spots alone, we already pretty well know everything we need, and we haven't even looked down below to see what the rewards are or really a whole lot about the art. So that's what you want. I mean, you want to get people interested, engaged, quite a bit early on, right?
Yeah, I'm engaged. I'm like, okay, everything I need to now. I'm curious. Now I want to. Would you like to know more? Yes.
Right. Speaking of which, let's scroll down and find out more. But first, if you haven't subscribed to the channel on YouTube, be sure and do that. We're well on our way to 1 million subscribers. Subscribe to the channel now, because a lot of you guys are watching, but you haven't yet subscribed. So be sure and do that today.
Help our algorithm.
Yes. All right. Let me switch to this view so we can see a bit more. He's using the jump points over there on the left. I love that. We've got our title cover here. That's fun looking art. It does have a little bit of a manga vibe. He's right about that. And then let's see. Here we go. Oh, check this out. Want to read the first 5 pages of Model UN? Then click here.
Ooh,
little preview link. I like that. All right. So then it says, it's 1996, and the high schooler Velma just wants to graduate from her stuffy private school and figure out the rest of her life. But first, there's one final meeting of the Rook College Model United Nations Club to get through, with the fate of the planet Earth in her hands. Then we have a look at the interior artwork, which looks like absolute manga madness. We got chaos going on. We got word balloons everywhere. We got short Catholic schoolgirl looking skirts going on. Very manga-esque. It says, wait, what? That's right. A massive mothership has stationed itself over campus and made its first contact with Velma's Model UN, mistaking her and her misfit friends as frenemies for the actual United Nations. Suddenly thrust into the role of chief negotiator and dealing with a self-obsessed alien leader, unwilling to admit that maybe, possibly, probably made a mistake reaching out to her. Velma has to judge final exams, her crush, and the massive weight of billions of lives, all in the space of one crazy weekend. It's a 54-page first half of this 2-part story. This has got a lot of good stuff going for it, man. It's 54 pages. It's got a nice pitch to it. It's got that 90s feel. It says if you like Scott Pilgrim, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Friends with Boys, and Giant Days, you'll like this comic. So, do you have everything you need to say I'm good, I'm in?
I'm in. Absolutely. I'd pick this up off the shelf. This looks fun. I like the art. I know everyone's like, oh, it's black and white. Don't be so quick to discard black and white and grayscale comics. They do an amazing job, and they do save on costs, and if executed properly, you get a very, very precise and perfect looking book. And I like the looks. I like all of this. This is choice. This is top shelf right here.
Yeah. As they say on RoboCop, I'd buy that for $1.
I'd buy that for $1.
All right, let's take a quick glance at the rewards. We have Model UN Part 1 digital PDF for $10. And, you know, in the past we've said $10 was a lot, but this is a 54-page comic. So you're technically getting like what we would normally consider 2 comics worth of books. So
I feel like that's a little more justified there. Then we have the PDF and script and layout for about $13. So layouts used to create the comic, different direction, commentary, all the kind of behind the scenes stuff. That's pretty cool. We don't get to see that all that often. And then we have the let's see, the Model UN plus Code 45 graphic novel. That's 54 pages of the UN PDF plus a full 124-page graphic novel in PDF form. So we're still talking PDFs, $17 for 2 books. One of them is 124 pages for $17. That's still a pretty good deal. We are still talking about PDFs on this one. So doth my eyes deceive me? This is a 100% digital campaign.
Interesting. Okay.
So, and he set goal, right? But the things that I like about it, number one, even at the beginning, when we were talking about the very smallest reward for 10 US dollars, 13 Canadian dollars, you're talking about 54 pages of comic. I feel like that's worth it, good job. Then as we go up, we're getting more and more and more. Like the last one is $18, right? Now this has probably got the most backers on it, and here's why. You get the 54-page PDF plus 9 additional digital comics in PDF form from other independent creators for $18. So that's a screaming deal, which is why people are all over it. So yeah.
Yep. I like it. It's very smart. It's very well executed, and it's not crazy. I mean, there's not like a big jump. You're right. It's cost effective. $18, and he starts at 10. I mean, he's already hit goal. This.
Yep. And the thing is, this is where the tariff-free statement came from.
Yeah.
So he being in Canada, I don't know. We actually last week when I had Gerald on the show, we had this conversation that in the past, if you were going to ship to Canada compared to say shipping to say Europe, it was just a little bit more to ship to Canada than it was to just ship within the United States. And then Europe was like $25. But now, because of all the crazy situation on the border and the tariffs, it costs just as much or more to ship to Canada as it does to ship to Europe, which is crazy. It's literally within, driving distance. We don't even have to go put it on a ship or a plane. And
no, we can just throw it over the wall.
Throw it over the wall. Yes, but there is not a wall. As much as they'd like us to have one, there is not one. All right. All in all, nicely done. Good looking campaign. So that brings us back to the wheel.
I got nothing as far as pointers or any. I mean, what do you do? What do you say to that? I mean, other than
I would say good job.
I mean, it did a really good job. I mean,
yeah.
I want to go walk with him in his forest that's evidently in his backyard.
So again, I think one of the reasons why we're saying this is a good job is it's a very straightforward pitch. It says who, what, and what's at stake. You've got these aliens that have to negotiate for the lives of the entire, planet, and they're just kids. So you're left with that question of how the hell are these kids going to save the day, Yep. And that's what you're trying to do in a good pitch. A lot of people tend to lean too hard into trying to explain everything about the story and getting into all the the world building and all that stuff, which can be cool, but it doesn't really have any emotional hook to it. This one, you're like, man, how are they going to succeed? That sounds like a lot of craziness going on. I want to know. Right?
Yep.
Sam is back. Sam's tail is back. All right, I just wanted to write down this before I forget, because I forgot to write this first one down. Model UN. All right.
Model UN. Part 1.
All right, moving on to the next one. Our next spin of the wheel. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be Matt Knowles' book, Heirs of Isildur? Who knows? Let's find out. Looks like Treasure of the Mystic Heart. It sounds so fantastical. All right, let's scroll back up over here. Hard to do with a cat in the way. You hear that, Sam? You're in the way. And there it is. We've got it. Let's share this tab instead. And boom, we're there. All right. Oh, hold on. It said you can't do that. Stop sharing. Share again. Every once in a while, it won't let me just jump from one screen to the next. It's like, no.
Like, how dare you try to put on a show? How dare you try to be entertaining?
Try to put on a show, right? All right. We're here with Treasure of the Mystic Hearts, a graphic novel. A prequel comic book to March of the Mystics, Galagoda meets Isra as they hunt the legendary Crackle Daggers. That's a lot of pronouns.
Yes, it is.
I don't know what any of those things are, but maybe we'll find out. All right.
Crackle Daggers? Crackle
Daggers. We're going to find
Crackle
out.
Daggers. Okay.
All right. So they have a goal of $2,000. And did you just hit a tab? Yes, you did, you little shit. I gotta find it here. There it is. Gotta love pets. Love them and hate them. But he adds so much to the show. Now he's trying to knock my monitor over. Dude, I'm about to... He's killing me here. About to scorch you with the water bottle here, buddy.
How did the Wheel of Destiny come to its end? The mighty cat!
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Sam destroyed it all.
The art looks
so
great.
We've got $2,000 goal, 2,600 raised, 63 backers with 2 weeks to go. Goodbye, cat. All right. So I don't know what the March of the Mystics, the Galagoda, Isra, or the Crackledackers are. So maybe this video will tell us. Let's find out. And Sam's back.
Treasure of the Mystic Hearts is going to be...
Hold up. I don't know if you just noticed, but this is a 4-minute, 26-second video. So when you guys are tired, throw your hands in the air that you just don't care. All right. Since it's vertical format, we're going to also put this here, maybe here. That way I can see you throwing your hands in the air. Okay. Are you ready? All right.
I'm ready.
Let's see.
Bearing
Treasure
down.
of the Mystic Hearts is going to be one of the best comics you've ever read. Let me tell you why. I'm Dave Schweitzer. I wrote a book called March of the Mystics. It starts with a treasure hunt, ends in war. After a group of magical mystics rains from the sky, Galagoda's life will never be the same. Well, if you read this book, you will know that Galagoda is trying to get a diamond so he can go to the Third Island Festival to impress a woman he has feelings for, and her name is Isra. In this comic, Treasure of the Mystic Hearts, you get to see how he meets Isra. You get to see their first adventure. So what we have, this is just a little sample preview, which is available online. And if you donate to our project, what we are going to do is get the full graphic novel, which should be around 110 pages. We were planning for about 5 issues. So that's about 110 pages, 22 pages each. And you'll get the amazing, fantastic, uncanny, and spectacular story of Treasure of the Mystic Hearts. Now, Gala is an adventurer, Indiana Jones type, and Isra is a musician, female Indiana Jones type. I don't know. And together, they will have to deal with an evil cult that also wants the weapons for their own nefarious purposes, and they'll be chased by these great lagoon-type creatures. This comic is one of the best comics you have ever seen. I'm not saying that because of the writing, okay? I literally mean one of the best comics you've ever seen, Okay, Reen and Shoddy
It is
did
beautiful.
the art for the March of the Mystics book, and it's phenomenal. It's beautiful, and it's one of these great things where you can see a fantasy book, see this beautiful art, and now get a story with that art in it. Because Renan did every page of this comic book. There's no fill-in.
That was my cat. He said, "I'm tired of watching." So we are watching a video. Yes, Lori, we're watching a long video. It's 4.5 minutes long, and Sam hit the button and said he's tired of watching.
I'm kind of with Sam. I'm weaning on my attention. I'm not at the I don't care stage, but I'm close.
Real close, right? So I'll say this. I can sense this creator's enthusiasm, especially for the artwork that's in the book. While we were watching the video, Matt jumped in and said, the art team for Mystic Arts comes highly recommended. Renan Shoddy did our last final record cover. He's a great dude. So far, the art I've seen is phenomenal looking, but so here's what I know so far. The vibe that I got was that this is sort of like a romance novel kind of thing, right? A romance fantasy thing. He's got some love interest, and he's trying to go after her in some way. I kind of didn't get a lot of specifics. What about you? What did you get to take away from this?
So 4 minutes is way too long, correct, Todd? So this is what I got, and I think I'm on board. But this is a prequel to an already existing book explaining the origin of the two characters that fall in love in the other story that we haven't read yet. So this is a prequel. It's a good jumping on point, and you don't necessarily have to know the other story, but I think he's resting a little bit on his laurels of people that have already read the previous story. And videos are hard, absolutely, because he's talking very fast. He needs to slow down just a little. Low and slow, baby. That is the best way to do a video. I would definitely. I mean, yes, set the tempo. I like the enthusiasm. Holy shit! I mean, this man could be selling tires, for fuck's sake. I mean, he is enthusiastic as hell, and I would buy it. But he just needs to just slow down so we can understand exactly what he's saying. And instead of flipping the book around so fast, just cut to an image. Just show the image. And I want to see more of these interiors. I want to see this art, because absolutely gorgeous. I mean, on par. I mean, this team should be working for Image or for Marvel. Look at that. That is gorgeous. I mean, it's an action scene. It's perfect.
Yeah, I really liked.
I don't think we. Huh?
I really liked when he cut away to show some of the art that's in it, rather than just trying to flip the book, because he's right. It does look good, and so again, I feel like there's a lot of great information in this video about, like, oh, this character is this Indiana Jones character. He kind of lost it when he was like, this other character is also an Indiana Jones kind of character, I guess. I was like, that's the best description you got for it. But I don't know that you necessarily need to spend time in a video saying that. You can put that down below. What I want to know in a video really is, like, what am I getting? How many pages is it? What's the hook? Like, why is this book something I should be buying when I've got all these options on Kickstarter? What makes this book awesome? And obviously one of the things that makes this book awesome, one of the big hooks, is the art. He's got that part down, but I'm not like sure about, the rest of it. I want to know more, but hi, Lori. I'm not Sean Wood, but I always say hi anyways. We got interesting banter going on. I love it. All right, so the video is a little long, but he's got a lot of energy. Let's see what else we got going on. Let me read this introduction a little bit. Treasure of the Mystic Arts is a 110-page adventure romance graphic novel. I was right. Galagata has spent his life hunting treasure. But until he met Isra Asole, he had no idea what he was actually looking for. As the two of them hunt down the magical crackle daggers, they will have to deal with an evil cult, lagoon creatures, and maybe even their own feelings. Think Indiana Jones meets The Hobbit. I feel like maybe Indiana Jones and Romancing the Stone or something, if you're going to have that much.
Alan Quartermain, baby. Alan Quartermain all the way.
So here's another look at this great looking art. I love these shots. So obviously, again, he says it right there that this is an adventure romance novel. So I love how many different genres there are in indie comics, and there's something for everyone. This book looks great. So I don't actually, I mean, there's some romance that happens, in one of my stories, but like I don't actively pursue romance books, so I don't know. Maybe if anybody's out there that reads these books can tell me, like, what else is it that intrigues you about a romance book? Like, what else could be add to this hook besides it's a romance book? Is there something that draws people in to want to read a romance book more than just the fact that it's romance? So he starts off the sentence, I wish you could read this. In a world of magical mystics, some weapons are powerful enough to cleave the land in two. The legendary crackle daggers have been hidden away for eons, but their myth grows ever popular. When Gala meets Isra, she suggests they hunt down the blades. Her reason for wanting them is vague, but Gala can't help and follow a pretty face. They soon learn they are not the only ones after the treasure. What started as an opportunity to flirt quickly becomes a race to save the world. This is an opportunity to flirt. Will our heroes get to the blades first? And more importantly, will they acknowledge the feelings brewing between each other? Find out in this exciting graphic novel, The Treasure of the Mystic Hearts. All right, so this whole section right here is probably the best description I've seen so far, and I feel like this should be maybe up at the top or even in the video. That's really the hook, the core of the hook right here. We've got
Don't bury the lead.
We've got who they are. We've got what they're after, which is these magical blades that are powerful enough to cleave the land in two, and then what stands in their way, these crackle dagger things, which is it's a funny word. I like saying it. Crackle daggers.
Crackle dagger.
So this is the pitch right here. So I would definitely maybe move that up a little bit. Don't bury the lead, as we say. More beautiful art. I love all the color transitions. Like on this top panel, how it transitions from this night blue into purple, then into greens. I don't know if the same person's doing the coloring or what, but it looks great. Great colors here. This scene right here where we're on the boat. She's piloting the boat. He's on the back of the boat. This has got a little bit of a Danger Girl vibe to it. Remember?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
Danger Girl. I'm digging it. Little Tomb Raider. Matt, I need you to say crackle like 25 more times, right? Crackle dagger, crackle. Yeah, this is fun and exciting looking. I would say that some of these shots here, like this boat going over the edge, people screaming like they're in danger. This shot right here for sure with the boat. These are great shots to be using, like up in the trailer video. You can have these up while you're talking. I love it. Good looking stuff. All right. Then we got a little section here about the characters. Again, great looking art. Then we've got the team here. This is our artists, Ren and Shoddy. Am I saying that right, Matt? a Brazilian comic book artist. Then we've got Angel RD, the colorist, and then a letter and the editor. All right. So then we get into the rewards. We've got a $10 PDF copy. Do we find out? Did he say how many pages this book was?
Yeah, like 100 and some odd. He said that up in the pitch up above.
110 pages. So again, we have a $10 digital that's a lot of pages. That's a good deal. Jump back down to the rewards. I love how I can just jump back and forth. And yeah, Lori, it does look cinematic. It does. It definitely has like a cinematic feel. Again, I also feel like I see a lot of like that Danger Girl influence going on. It's great, except with like heavier blacks, more noir blacks. So then we have the second reward is the same, except an exclusive sticker. So I guess that's a physical reward. Even if you're only getting the digital stuff, you still get a sticker. Then we got trading cards. Somebody go alert JD Calderon. I know he likes to collect indie comic trading cards. So let him know that this campaign has trading cards. Then we've got a $35 graphic novel physical copy of this 110-page book, which...
That's a deal, dude. That's a deal. That is a deal.
And then we've got for $50, you get the book, you get all of the previous rewards, the sticker, the PDF, plus you get an exclusive poster only available via Kickstarter. I love those only available via Kickstarter rewards. That makes it feel like this is the place to buy things. $70 variant cover to this graphic novel. So multiple covered graphic novels. You don't see that all that often. It does happen. And then we've got $90. You get the book that just came out. This Treasure of the Mystic Arts book. Plus you get the original book, March of the Mystics graphic novel as well. Plus all the other stuff, the poster, the sticker, all that stuff. It just keeps growing and growing. There's a hardback version of it. For $200, you get all that stuff, plus a character head sketch from Renan Shoddy. That would be pretty cool. And that's for $200, let me double check that. Let me scroll down.
Is that right?
Well, I want to see if you get just the sketch or you get everything with the sketch. Okay, so it looks like you only get the sketch, an original head sketch. Now, also these sketches are pre-made. These are sketches of the characters that were originally designed. So there's only a couple of them, and original head sketch by Renan. These are some of the first physical sketches of these characters to be produced, black and white, pencils, inks, ink washed. Nobody's grabbed that one yet, and I think on that particular one, people love that original art, but yet they'd have to go into the add-on section to actually add the book.
Yeah.
At that point, at $200, maybe make it, $250. Throw in the book with it.
At least the digital, the PDF. I mean, you're not out anything for it. To just throw in the digital, especially for $200. I mean, everything else has been a deal. I don't see.
Well, yeah. I mean, even like, let's say you're the writer or the creator, and you've struck this deal with your artist, and let's say the artist is going to get almost all that money, all that $200.
Yeah.
Then you charge a little bit more. You charge $225, you charge $230, and you put in a bunch of digital stuff with it, or maybe even the book, because I feel like you want to have people get something of the book with it. I mean, in some way, digital or something. But so that might be why that particular
why it's still sitting there
has not been grabbed yet. Because
that alone is gorgeous. That should have gone first, I would think, right out of the gate. to be honest with
Yep.
you.
All right, so the most popular reward on here is definitely the physical copy of the book. I always like to compare the digitals versus the physicals. For $35, he's got 29 backers at $35 for the physical copy of the book, which does come with the PDF and the sticker and all that. Whereas the $10 digital reward only has 13 backers. So in this case, they want that book. They want the physical copy. Let's look at the comment section here. Lori says, from my perspective, if the Kickstarter is for the book, all tiers have a version of the book, physical or digital. Yeah, I agree.
Agreed.
That sketch is awesome. I'd love to have one of those sketches. This is a great looking artist. It'd be cool to have, but I still want the book. Yeah. Matt says, I think every tier in a campaign at minimum must have a digital copy of the book. That's the foundation. Everything builds on that. So we're saying the same things. We're all in agreement. Throw in that digital copy of the book. Maybe you get.
I think that as soon as you do that, that sketch is gone. I'll guarantee that. You put in a digital copy, keep it at the same price, or kick it up another $10.
Yep.
And that thing's gone for sure. For sure.
Yeah. Well, all in all, again, the video was a little bit long and could definitely be trimmed down, but the excitement, enthusiasm was there. The artwork looks great. And the reward tier where they're just building and building and building is great. So the only two things that I really see need work is trimming that video down and working on that final tier. What do you guys think?
Yep.
All right, we're going to move over to the wheel again. Oh, still wants me to stop sharing and reshare it. I don't know why it's being a butthead today.
Because it can.
Because it can. All right, there we go.
Because it can.
All right, that brings us to our third and final entry, the comic book showdown of Ultimate Destiny. Who's it going to be? Is Matt going to make it this week? Let's find out. Looks like Old Devils. Is this a book about you and I?
Could be.
All right, guys. If you haven't checked out these other books, be sure and check them out. Ice and Bone, Icelander and Plasma, Storage Horrors, Los Ojos Volume 1, Cocaine Stripper Stronghold, The Sentinels, Ink Volume 1, Thelby Jack, Matt's here with his book, Heirs of Isolder, Mosquito, Hospice, and Memoirs of the Morbid. Some of these books may not be available by next week, so go check it out. Crackle, crackle. All right. So let's
Crackle dagger. Crackle dagger.
Crackle dagger.
Right, crack myself up.
Old Devils 1 and 2. Ooh, this one's only got 4 days to go.
Oh, in the home stretch. Light at the end of the tunnel. Here we go.
Here we go. Looks like
the most stressful time of the campaign.
They are right at the edge. They've got a goal of $3,000, 4 days to go, and they are at $2,861. 94 backers. That's a good amount of backers for an indie comic, but we're not hitting that goal yet. So
average $30 per backer at that standing. So you're close. You're really, really close.
So they need at least 5 more backers at that average. So are you going to be one of those backers today? Let's find out. All right, Old Devils 1 and 2, a modern horror story. Occult investigators from a failed reality show unraveled a centuries-long killing spree in a new 24-page horror comic. It's under the Project We Loves tab. It's also under the theme of the month, which is Witch Starter. All right, there is no video for us to watch today. Too bad, so sad. So we're moving on to see what this comic book tells us. All right, he'd kill for more children over and over again. That's a interesting phrase. We got some pretty cool looking and fitting dark art here. We've got this creature. It looks like this baby just popped out of the womb, like demonic and ready to go. This is like aliens baby.
Rosemary's Baby. All right.
Yep. Down below it says that we got some text here. A cult reality show has-beens, Jade and Shaw, have puzzled together a centuries-long pattern of young women dying during childbirth. Well, they would probably die because of that horrendous thing coming out of them. The common thread, a charismatic out-of-towner who disappears when they die. If they're out of town and then they disappear, I don't know. How would you really know that much? Now the paranormal investigators have a chance to stop the killings and redeem themselves for their decades-old public failings. So
it's a redemption story, I tell you.
Yep. Old Devils is a limited horror series in the tradition of Something is Killing the Children, 30 Days of Night, and Marvel's Night Stalkers. This Kickstarter will fund issue 2, a 24-page comic by Matthew Welding, Freehands, Nightmare Man, and Jeremiah Sheck, Hush Ronin, One True Love. Those are comics, some of them I've heard of. This is a limited campaign running for only 666 hours.
Okay.
They're
leaning into the devil demonic. Okay, fine.
Yeah. That's
okay.
That's a thing. That's a choice. We've got this cover, Decay #2, Old Devils #2, right? Looking good. It's kind of got a Walking Dead kind of vibe going to it. The classic TV panels. This takes me back to the early days of Spawn.
Yeah.
All the exposition was given to us through television announcements. Let's see. Then we got some more interior. Now, wait a minute. This one's in color. Issue 2, page 1, unlettered. This one's in black and white. This one just has not been colored yet. It will be.
No.
Okay. So I see a lot of people yelling and stuff. A lot of the build-up panels, like something creepy is about to happen, and then we've got some devilry going on right here. Very good, very good. All right, so then we down below all of that, we have a section called The Story So Far. It says, note, spoilers for issue 1 below. Stop reading if you don't want to know. So should I stop or should I go?
Well, I mean, we're here. We might as well.
We're here. We might as well. All right. We're diving in. Jade St. Clair, a middle-aged Boston club promoter, is contacted by Dr. Randall Shaw, a former associate of hers, from a failed turn-of-the-century reality show about the occult. Shaw, who is now wheelchair-bound due to an accident in the show's pilot, wants Jade to investigate a series of grisly deaths over the past 200 years in central Canada. Reluctantly, Jade abandons her dead-end life. I just reluctantly abandoned my dead-end life. I feel like if your life is dead-end, you would abandon it pretty easily.
I mean, I'm dropping that like a bag of dirt and going and get my life. I mean,
let's do it, right? All right, so actually, I don't feel like that's revealed too much.
I don't think that revealed anything.
So we know in this campaign we're getting issue 2. Let's see in the rewards if we're getting issue 1 available to us. Digital edition is $5. That's pretty good for a 24-page comic. And let's see, there's two things available. The Old Devils #1 digital edition and #2. Look at that. $5. You're getting them both. That's a steal. That's probably why there's 15 backers on that one already.
Yep.
Then we've got Old Devils #2 print edition, $6. And
$6.
you get the digital with it. Okay. And then I would hope that in the add-on section you can add on issue 1, I would think.
Hopefully.
Then we've got Signed in Blood, $10. You get printed copy, but it's signed this time as well as the digital copy. So apparently their signature is worth $4.
Okay.
So then we've got old. Now this is a little confusing to me. Up at the top, we saw Old Devils digital edition, $5. Want to read comics or tablet, or just want to avoid shipping? You can get the newest edition of Old Devils for just $5. What a great deal! But right here, down below, under the let me move this so you can see it. Where's my cursor? There it is. Right here in the purple area. When I hover over it, it says Old Devils #1, Old Devils #2. If I pay for this, you just told me I'm getting those. You better follow through, right? So this one's probably not supposed to have that on there because down below it says for $10, Old Devils 1 and 2 digital edition. Get both for $10. I think this is I think this is an accident. I don't know how to fix it. What do you guys think in the chat? What do you do at this point? Because a bunch of people up top are going to be like, "Hey, I thought I was getting both. It said I was getting both."
Yep.
What do you do? What do you do?
What do you do? Pop quiz. What do you do?
All right. Print edition. So a lot of these rewards do have both 1 and 2. I like to see that. I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom. We got some big whale tiers here. We got $250. You are on the back cover. Everyone wants to be in a comic book. Now's your chance. Place yourself or a loved one or a hated enemy on the back of the cover of Old Devils 2. Let's see. So that means that you also get Old Devils 2 digital edition, print edition, Old Devils #1 digital edition, as well as being printed on the back cover. And there's 3 of those been taken already. So that's a pretty good deal.
It's a good deal.
And then above that, for $125, we have a half-page ad inside of there. So this is another way to get your comic out there, depending on how big of a reach this comic has. You might be able to reach some new people. So there's at least one person who's jumped on that. So back to this conversation about what do we do about this sort of mistake that's happened.
I wonder if he's even aware of it. I'm surprised. I mean, he may not be.
If he's watching.
Hopefully.
Let's see what our chat says. Lori says you have to end that tier. End it now. Close it. Make a correct one, but fulfill what you put on there. Yeah, you can't change a tier once someone has backed it. So the only way is to shut that one off and start a new one. Matt says, "Yep." Basically the exact same thing as Lori says. We have the hive minds. Yep. We're thinking all with a single mind. I love it.
That's frightening.
It's definitely a mistake though. So as Lori said, you still have to fulfill the ones that have backed this.
Paid for it.
Backed it. But I definitely I don't remember how many days he's got left. He's only got 4 days to go, so it's almost not worth ending it at this point. Just fulfill it.
Just suck it up, Buttercup.
Being that it's digital, it's not going to hurt you too much.
No.
But so there it is. We've got our 3 campaigns. Model UN, which is really nice looking campaign. Treasure of the Mystic Hearts with that beautiful art. And then we had Old Devils. So let us know in the comment section which one you guys think gave the best presentation and which one made you enticed to want to go back at more, while I find my Sharpie. You might have to find a gold. I'll use a gold one. No, there's the black one. All right. We had a lot of good campaigns, a lot of good stuff on here today. I love seeing it. Love seeing all these different indie comics.
No, today was a solid day. It was well done.
Yeah, this one's tough because I'm kind of going back and forth between two. And remember, I have to always base my decision on this particular show, about which one had the best presentation.
What's the pitch?
Sometimes I'm like, I really like that book, but man, the presentation was in need, right? So,
you know what? While you make up your mind, you know what we should do? We should break to our sponsor. Why don't you know what? Our sponsor, who we love dearly and who's helping us keep the lights on and fun little Sam's after school projects, is Gemini Mailers. So why don't we cut to them while Matt, who is suffering from a decision-making disorder, figures out who he wants to back.
I love it. Let's check them out right now. Let's talk about fulfillment for a second. You've worked your butt off to get your comic made and crowdfund your book. Now you're faced with sorting, packing, labeling, shipping, and tracking potentially hundreds of backers. Fulfillment can make or break your indie comic campaign. It can be downright overwhelming, especially if you're a one-person operation. That's why we're excited to share that our new sponsor, Gemini Mailers, now offers full-service fulfillment designed specifically for independent comic creators. They're offering fulfillment starting at just $2.50 per order, including Gemini's premium mailers shipping at cost. No markup storage, no monthly minimums, so you can ship in waves if you want. They even have custom packaging options like shrink wrap, filler pads, and more. These guys get it because they've been mailing our comics for years. And now they've built a warehouse operation that's already helping creators like us fulfill campaigns smoothly. So if your next campaign feels like it's going to bury you in boxes, be sure to check out GeminiComicSupply.com. This isn't just shipping, it's peace of mind.
Such a ruggedly handsome man there. I feel like I'm on the plane now for United, where they cut now. They don't do announcements. They just play the video.
Yep. One of these days I want to update that video. I just have not had time.
In case of a water landing, you're not going to have time to pull out the flotation device. You might as well just kiss your ass goodbye while your head is down there. Oh shit.
All right. So I've made my decision. It was a tough decision. I am ready to go. Are you ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
All right. Drum roll, please. Can you hear it? There it is.
Nope, but that's okay.
Still can't hear it. There it is. 1, 2, 3, show your thing. There it is. Yeah, we were on the same page with that. It was tough for me because honestly, like the premise and the artwork of the second one, the treasures, I mean, that art looked beautiful. I was definitely like, I'd probably, lean towards that. And even though I'm not even like really into like romance, when I looked at the artwork and it gave me that Danger Girl vibe, I was like, oh, this is probably the one I would buy. But this Model UN campaign was solid. It was straight to the point. It was called Model UN. Go check it out. It's got a fun, straight to the point intro video. It was something fresh and fun that haven't seen in a while. And then everything in it was just very clear and concise to the point of what this book is about. Pitch, perfect kind of thing. Is it normally the kind of comic I would buy? Not necessarily, but it was a beautiful pitch, and that's why
damn near bulletproof. I really, there was nothing I could say do different, do better, do this. I mean, he's already hit goal. He's already done all of that. And you're right. The art on the second one, the treasures, is so gorgeous. But I mean, I would pick both up off the shelf. Let's be perfectly clear. Both I would pick up off the shelf, but based on the pitch and our own rules, following our own rules, the solid pitch is definitely Model UN.
All right. Well, that was a fun show. We had learned a lot today. Like I said, at the beginning of the show, we talked about, what kind of Comic-Cons are the best kind of shows for indie comic creators. And then we got into a little bit about why some of these campaigns that have fantastic looking books are not succeeding. Has a lot to do with getting out there and interacting on social media and getting your reach going. So stay tuned every Friday as we give more tips and share what we've learned along the way as comic creators. If you want to check out my book, be sure and go to actionlinestudios.com. We can get 9 different issues of Mythica, both in physical and in digital format. There's some very rare alternate covers. Plus, you can check out the brand new updated art gallery for fan art. We had a bunch of fan art submitted because of the currently going Indie-tober. So you can check out some of the great artwork, plus all the artwork that had been submitted in the past. And then also you can check out the crowdfund clinic on Action Line Studios, which is where you can get your campaign reviewed and looked at by us for the cost of one backer, and see if you can catch some of these mistakes before you launch. It's not going to guarantee success, but it certainly can help get
it can hurt
a better right? It can hurt, right? So be sure and check that out. And then Smurf, where can they find you and all your adventures and see us out?
You can find me at 5280geek.com, 5280geek on Facebook, 5280geek on Instagram. Our podcast is available on all major podcasting platforms. I will be updating them this week. Next week, we will be talking about New York Comic Con, all of the hijinks, all of the adventures. We're in the middle of October, and there is so much going on. So, on that bombshell, we shall say goodbye. Run fast, laugh hard, and always be kind. Good night!
Good night, everybody.